Good afternoon. As I said before, this is my next video is going to be on the world system. That'll be next. Again, I'm going to push it back due to the immediate circumstances, what's going on with the world, this country. And we're hearing the idea where we have to accept the election. This is not an election, people. This is a coup. This is a coup. They couldn't throw out Trump for 4 years and tempted every illegal thing they could. And that's why now you have media organizations saying now we have to just move on and accept it and this is all legitimate. This is a coup, not an election. And let me just read you here what's coming. If this allows to stand. This is how communism and Nazism come to countries. They destroy electoral systems, the democracy. So I hear people out there saying it's okay. Business as usual. President Trump was re-elected that night. Elections are held on election day. They're not held 3 days later. This is no less a coup that if the military still came in and took over. No less. No less a coup. And if the Supreme Court allows us to stand, we would have lost a legitimate government. And we ruled by illegitimate government. The Biden and Harris are not legitimate winners. And everybody who accepts them, while all the people out there say Trump should just give up grace, he won already. He isn't giving anything up. The football game ends in the fourth quarter. You don't score touchdowns after the game's over. That's what the Democrats are doing. So let's not pretend that this is a legitimate election. This is a takeover. A takeover of one party from another party. And the other party, Republicans, want to pretend we're still in a constitutional form of government, and we're not. If this is allowed to stand. If the Supreme Court does not rule that this is invalid, our freedoms are over. I hear people saying, well, we can do something in 2022, and we're going to do this, and we can do that. No, all elections are over. All elections are over. They can turn the fraud machine on anytime they want now. 4 cities will control, urban areas will now control all the states. Like they do in the blue states, they just control all the states and just, put up false ballots. Look at Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. A time of war and a time of peace. We could very well be in a time of war. They want to tell you, don't worry about it. Business as usual. You know the last time someone won an election? When he hadn't won California, when he hadn't won Oregon, Ohio, or Florida, it was 1960. And that was stolen also by Kennedy. 1960. So, you can't win an election in the United States without winning either Ohio or Florida. It's impossible. This is a massive conspiracy to destroy the United States of America. It's globalism. First thing Biden's going to do is go in and undo everything Trump did. Let immigrants now come in, illegal immigrants come in. Print money like with Venezuela. It's all going to happen. Lock everyone down again. And if they get control of the Senate, you'll see a total socialist government coming. Illegitimate. Wasn't voted in. Wasn't voted in. Don't let them say it was a legitimate vote. It wasn't. It was a coup. And Jeremiah, let's see here. Find that verse. 6:14 is 6:14. Yeah. Jeremiah 6:14. This is the great verse that Patrick Henry quoted. And peace to the world, peace. Right before the American Revolution, 6:14. It's talking about the false prophets. You got a lot of false prophets out there now, people telling you everything's okay. We'll win next time. There was no next time. The 70 million people who voted for Trump, they're not coming out again. Why should they? Why should they? Now the Democrats can do anything they want to do. Where's the Republican leadership? Denouncing this. Every time you always see something the Democrats don't like, those on the streets of Washington D.C., the White House, or the streets, or on the steps, they all get together for the photo op, denouncing something, something Trump did. Where's the big? Every elected official of the Republican Party should gather together, saying this will not stand. This is a coup. This is not an election. We might as well be Venezuela. We might as well be Venezuela. And that's what's coming. That's what they want. And you still want the false prophets. Verse 13, far from the least of them, even unto the greatest of them, everyone was given the covetousness, and from the prophet even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly. See, this is all to... Biden ran on the idea of return to normalcy. Like Trump is the one causing the problems. See, now Biden's in there. He wants unity and he wants peace. Normalcy, that was the word. And you see all the media outlets said now things are going to return to normal. In other words, their globalist aspirations can continue unabated. Peace, peace, when there is no peace. Were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Nay, they were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall at the time that I visit them. They shall be cast down, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the path and the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights. The Democrats are against that, people. They've already told you they're going to shred them. Ask for the old paths. The normalcy is destroying, to them, the normalcy is destroying the Constitution. Not allowing public worship, assembly in churches, while they're out now in the streets, partying. They couldn't come in person to the election sites. Because of the virus. That's why you had to have massive mail-outs, right? But now they're out in the streets partying without masks. What a fraud. And the worst of the people who are supposed to be on our side saying, well, we have to work with it. We have to all, concede and make, and accept this. No. There's no acceptance to this. This is tyranny. Tyranny has come to the United States, people. Stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find the rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. We will not walk therein. That's the United States, people. 6:16. Jeremiah 6:16. American people, Democratic Party, they cheat each other, the American Democratic Party, in primaries. There's no fraud, Ed. You ever evidence of fraud? They had fraud so bad in one primary they had to redo the election in their own primary. But our leadership is allowing this to happen in the name of return to normalcy. There's no normalcy now. You're about to see the beginning of the end of the United States of America, if this is allowed to stand. If President Trump isn't reelected and put in office, because he won the election. He won the election. Elections are won on election night. If he isn't allowed to be put into office, we are in a state of tyranny. There is no more rule of law. So that's the situation we find ourselves in now. We are essentially in a tyrannical. When Biden gets in, if he gets in, and Harris gets in, and Biden won't last his administration. Be Harris. The political process is gone. It's over. The Republican Party would have lost probably half its support. 70 million people out there were Trump supporters, not Republican. So you take the reality of what's happening here. There's a time for everything, and there's a season for everything. And prepare accordingly. Make preparations accordingly. Prepare for more shutdowns. If you're not armed, arm yourself. If you're not armed, arm yourself, people. Antifa is coming. They're going to put these people in your suburbs to control you. Don't think that this isn't coming. Do not think that this is Biden. They're already talking about recriminations against Trump supporters. While on one side of his mouth, Biden's going to make unity. Unity is a communist idea of coming together under their power. And they will use lockdowns. The blue states will start punishing the left states. We'll have massive inflation. We're going to have massive inflation because they're going to bail out the blue states. California, New York, all this, Illinois, who have destroyed their own economies because they refuse to open up. And of course, they're going to figure out a way to stack the Supreme Court. That's what FDR tried to do. The Supreme Court was the only thing standing between him and what he wanted to do with the New Deal. So I just want to let you know this is what's going on. The Lord's still in heaven. He's still in control. But we have a responsibility to recognize the truth of what's going on. All the platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, we're in this conspiracy to shut down any true information. To not call what's happening is true, a coup. And right now the only thing that can prevent that actually happens to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, where they can see all the fraud, all the illegal things that are happening, and order those votes removed, or revotes. Do you think the Democrats want to have revote Mississippi, Michigan, and Georgia, and there's other states out there that they Arizona, those states they claim they won? Do you think they want to revote? Wisconsin? Biden underperformed in every other state, other cities. Underperformed. You don't win elections by bringing in ballots in the middle of the night, having 100% your vote. Doesn't happen. And then allow people to observe the ballot collection. Unless you're a third world country, a dictatorship. Can't pretend that this is an election. Christians deal with reality. This was an overt coup. After 4 years of trying to put a coup on Trump, get him out of office, this was their last chance. That's why they're dancing in the streets, risking the virus that they couldn't risk before. They had to have mail-out ballots. And now what Pelosi is going to do is try to put that in law to make this always out, where we'll have mail-in ballots. So Oregon will never go red again. They have a mail-in system. You see how far left Oregon's gone? So just beware of what's going on politically, and make preparations necessary to protect yourself and your family. We're in a situation here, like the United States has faced in times, crises. In 1860, great crisis of states separating. In that case, the South didn't have a right to secede because no one was abusing their freedoms. But when the Biden-Harris administration comes in and ignores our freedoms, ignores the Bill of Rights, and they will do it. They will be coming to take guns. They will be coming to your churches. They will not allow freedom of assembly. They will shut down free speech. Then there will be seriously consideration to resist, rightfully so. That was legitimate. These people are not legitimate government. So, keep that in mind. It's a time for peace and a time for war. A time for love and a time for hate. This is not a time for unity, people. This is not a time for love. And that's what they're going to try to tell you. Which unify. That's like saying they're telling Trump to be gracious. That's like someone stealing your property and then trying to be gracious about it. Well, I hope you enjoy the property. Hope you enjoy my watch, or my wallet, my money. That's what these guys, telling you need to concede graciously. That's what they told Nixon in 1960. They'll steal from you and then tell you you're supposed to concede graciously, like it's a legitimate loss. But this is a coup. This is a massive, illegitimate coup of proportions that I didn't think possible. I never thought, I said I was always before, but I didn't think they would have this much audacity to steal it at this level. Because they hit a red wave. They were supposed to have this Biden blue wave come. They lost everything else. How they win the presidency when you win the House, you hold the Senate, you win all the state houses. Statistically, that's impossible. That's impossible. If you win the presidency, you win the House. You're going to win House seats. That's just the way it goes. The last count, I think we won 10 House seats. They spent hundreds of millions to overturn state houses because they wanted gerrymander. That's their next thing. You know, so they could get control of the Congress, and you never have another vote to get to Congress. They failed. If it was a blue wave, they would have succeeded. Instead, we picked up a House seat, I think, in New Hampshire. Picked up a governorship in Rhode Island. So don't call this an election. This is not an election. This is a coup. We won the election. We won the election. What they're doing now is stealing. So there will be no unity. There will be that, and while they call unity, the Republican Party is going to call unity with them and just move on and just, let the, no. Illegitimate government. So prepare, people. Prepare for what's coming. Get your responsibility. Don't listen to the siren songs on Fox telling you it'll be all right. Well, it'll be like a normal government. Everything's going to be fine. It's not going to be. It's not going to be. Prepare. Start stocking up now for the shutdowns. Start arming yourself now while you can. Because come January 21st, the normal day, they're going to put things in operation to stop everything. This is their chance. This is their chance. Schumer's out there saying if they win 2 seats in Georgia, they're going to change the country. This is how radical they are. This is what they intend to do now. So don't be self-deceived like the people of Joe Myers Day when they wanted to be self-deceived. They didn't want to see the destruction that was about to come upon them. Didn't get ready for it. Because it is coming. If this stands. If this stands. But if the Supreme Court does what's right, it won't stand. If the Supreme Court does and follows the law, it won't stand. Now, get that in mind, people. If this were a legitimate election, the law wouldn't be involved. It'd be just a matter of counting numbers. But the law has to come in because this is unlawful. And we don't condone illegal actions. We don't concede to illegal actions. So let me put this up. Just remember, just keep in mind what's going on, people. We'll see in the next few months. But you have a little window now. You have a little window, but start preparing. Start stocking up. Start seeing the reality of it. They're going to cloud, I tell you, the world system, they're going to cloud what's coming. They're going to tell you peace, peace. That Biden's returned to normalcy. Far from it. Far from it. Especially if they regain the Senate. Schumer, Pelosi, Biden, these men, Biden's one of the most corrupt politicians walking around. People full of hate. Hate for us. Hate for the United States of America. And now they have a chance to actually do what they always wanted to do. Destroy our freedoms. Because we had them on the run. We had them on the run. A second administration of Trump would destroy them. And they know that. Trump got 70 million people to vote for him. Legitimately. From all backgrounds. Latino voters, black voters, the woman vote. All the people he said that he had expanded the Republican base, he got them. Who was it who opposed them? The Republican elites. The never-Trumpers were the white men, the white neocons, who want to get you involved in wars again. Staying of Afghanistan, get in Syria, get involved in this war, that war, stay there, stay here. The intelligence communities was all behind. This is a big psyop. This is all coordinated. All 5 states stop counting at the same time when Trump's moving ahead. States still haven't counted ballots. Like with some... You realize in India they can hold an election with 1 billion people and have a problem? Florida had no problem. The red states never have problems. You notice that? Red states don't have problems counting votes. Seems always happen in the blue states. Because the urban areas, they control it and they're corrupt. But we're told to accept it. I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to accept a coup. Cut off Fox News. Just cut them down. Stop watching that garbage. They're traitors. Anybody who concedes to this administration coming up, if they win, is a traitor. We watched Braveheart, and we're also motivated by Braveheart. What happened there? He got stabbed in the back by his own people who wanted to work with the British, the English. Remember that scene? When he's about to fight the English, and the army pulled back from him? That's what happened here. This is now the environment we live in. We're facing our greatest crisis. This country has lived prosperously for so long that we forgot what a crisis is really like. The flu, the virus thing gave us an inkling of what they could do, destroying our lives piece by piece with no restraints. Things that you never thought they would ever do, they did, under the guise of we have to protect public health, which had nothing to do with public health. Masks don't protect you from anything. Certainly not wearing a mask around in the air, you won't protect you anything. And we saw they would be hypocritical. They'd be walking around with masks. They'd be going to salons. They'd be doing everything they wanted to do. It was just to get control. As I said before, the thing about the taking the number. We see a freely now. We see it. We see how it's going to work. But as long as we're here, open your eyes, keep your eyes open. Don't believe the lie that this was an election. It wasn't an election. Once they started counting ballots after Election Day, it stopped being an election. It stopped being an election. It was a coup. Elections are won on Election Day. They just overthrew a duly elected president of the United States. And all the networks want you to believe that's okay, including Fox, especially Fox, because they really triggered it when they called Arizona for Biden. They triggered it. Because there's no way of winning an election without Ohio or Florida, under normal circumstances. So let me stop here and put this up. Amen. Thank you.